Hi everybody, welcome back to Arma 3, welcome back to the Spearhead 1944 DLC, and what I wanted to do was just kind of take a little bit of a walk through the map. I'm in the Eden editor here, so there's no enemies or anything to worry about, just to give you a feel for how this map looks and the things you could kind of look forward to. It's very early days for the mod. It only came out yesterday as of the recording of this video, but I'm really excited to see basically what the community can come up with in terms of especially single player scenarios or co-op with AI scenarios. The game comes with obviously Operation Cobra, which is the big co-op multiplayer, and then it comes with a few single player sort of things you can do as well. And I'm also very excited to play something like Anti-Stasi. I'm playing as like the French resistance, trying to get rid of the Germans in Normandy, which is where this map is set. So it's 150 square kilometers of the Normandy countryside. Let's go back to the editor so you can kind of get a better view. Here it is. There we go. And Operation Cobra started a few weeks after the invasion, and it was kind of where the Americans were trying to break through the German lines. So if you imagine the armed forces of America, the US military is in the north up here, and the Americans are in the south. The coast, of Normandy would be further north, and the whole point was to break through, to get through the countryside, to have that breakout moment, so that the big Allied armies could really start getting the Germans on the run. At the same time, the British were attacking in the northeast as well. So it was kind of a big combined arms thing. Yeah, very exciting. Now, what you will notice is that this is an incredibly flat map as well as this area of France is. We don't get the ups and downs of something like the Cam Lao Nam map of Prairie Fire DLC. But the sightlines are still really short because of the sheer number of hedgerows and trees and the like. And what you'll notice as well is everything is broken up into these kind of small little hamlets and villages and the odd town, which means most of the game modes are going to be, you're going to be crossing fields, crossing hedgerows, trying to take small hamlets, trying to make small villages, and from that point, fighting through that, doing sort of CQB, sort of urban combat, and then into, I can't even say the open fields because they're not. There's so many hedgerows and so many trees. You don't have these massive long sightlines. The biggest sightlines are actually like what you see here, kind of down this road. So in this particular little village, you can imagine, there's a Tiger tank all the way up here, firing at your poor Shermans as they kind of come to this crossroads. So I'll tell you what. Speaking of tanks, we've walked through a little bit as a infantry. Let's spawn in as a tank and do a little bit of a drive. In fact, let's spawn as a Hellcat. So this is a tank destroyer, actually. So the Hellcat tank destroyer, the idea with these is that they had a gun capable of taking out German armour, maybe from the side and the back of things like the Tiger, but they're very fast, so they didn't have that much armour themselves. So the idea is that if there was for example, a counterattack by the Germans, your tank destroyers would be able to respond and get themselves into a situation where they could then set up ambushes and a defence against attack. So when we talk about tank destroyers, sometimes we think about like the German self-propelled guns and things like that, but a tank destroyer can be anything from just a gun, like a field gun, through to just an ordinary tank, through to things like this, tank destroyers. But their job is to destroy tanks, so not really as an offensive weapon to push forward with the infantry. Their job is to identify where enemy tanks are and take them out. Right, okay, so let's get into what we got. Gunner's seat. Let's get in the gunner's seat, see what view. Oh gosh, he doesn't have much of a view, does he? But you can see, the sightlines are incredibly short. Great opportunities for ambushes choke points. Let's just see what other seats we can get into. Assistant driver, what view have they got? There we go. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Pretty cool. I remember this is a bright sunny day. I always think the games are better like when you have it like overcast, or in the early morning or the late evening when you have the shadows. Okay, so that's as a tank. What we'll do now, let's go back and let's spawn in a plane. So, Thunderbolts. Let's put this in the air. Ooh. Oh, I just took the fellow out of it. We don't want to do that, do we? Plane, Thunderbolt. Let's put him up here. So he's got a bit of altitude. And let's see if I can spawn in as the character. Are you going to let me play? Play the character. Here we go. Now, there aren't that many aircraft in Spearhead 1944 at launch. You've got the Focke-Wulf for the Germans, and we've got the Thunderbolt for the Americans. But obviously, we do have access to things like Iron Front and Faces of War and lots of other World War II mods that will bring in more aircraft. And I'm sure as the history goes with things like... Ooh, let's change the control method. Let's just throttle up a little bit. Am I throttling up or am I throttling down? Throttling up. Like with Prairie Fire, where as the mod goes on, we'll get more content added to it. You'll get improvements. You'll get bug fixes. Ooh. And you'll kind of see the DLC go from strength to strength. Because what is apparent straight away is the kind of the sheer love and effort that's gone into this mod. You know, with the the details, with how good the models work. So although that we might not be overwhelmed with the sheer number of models, the ones that are in the game, they look really, really, really nice, and I'm sure more and more will be on its way. And as with all things Arma, it's kind of all about the community, isn't it? And the scenarios and game modes and campaigns that the community come up with their amazing imagination that you can't really compare with things that the originators come up with. Right at the beginning, anyway. So there we go. There's the Thunderbolt. Looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Have to do a bit more practice of flying. Woo! So let's go back to the editor, and then let's spawn in as a assistant squad leader. Let's play as the character, and let's finish off just by walking through these trees. Oh, there goes my plane. To give you a feel of what it's going to be like. Playing and fighting. There he goes. It's just the sounds, isn't it? The sounds are really good in this DLC. And I think, the best is yet to come with Spearhead 1944. What you get with the base game is enough to keep you going, and then when the community really kicks in and starts bringing out different stuff, converting existing game modes and scenarios, it's just going to go from strength to strength. Anyway, that's enough for me. There is a taster of the Normandy map for the Spearhead 1944 DLC. Hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully this has whet your appetite for playing and buying the DLC. And of course, if you've enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will see you again soon.